my way to work right now, but I was going to do a short review of The Life of Pi. A movie came out about 2 weeks ago, and I went and saw it on my day off this week. Um, Directed by Ang Lee, and it's based off the book The Life of Pi by, I think the way you pronounce it is Jan Mantel or something like that. But hopefully also you can hear me well. I think what had happened before is the microphone that I use has a small battery in it that boosts the reception and signal from it, and so I think that I had the microphone turned off, and so I've made sure that it's turned on this time. If it does not sound very well, then it's probably the battery's dead, and I'll probably remake this video here. So back to the review of the movie. If you've read the book, it's the movie is very similar to the book. There's a couple things that they took out or changed, but it really doesn't change the main story of the book, or of the movie, sorry. So the overall visuals of the book, of the movie, are just amazing. Ang Lee did an amazing job shooting this movie. I mean, I think one of the Academy Awards is the best cinematography, and out of the movies I've seen so far this year, I'd definitely say that this one should probably win best cinematography. A lot of it is done computer graphics, so sometimes when you get the computer graphics, you kind of get that where it's too clear, so that it just looks almost fake. And I mean, none of the images really look like that. Even the I'm not giving it away, but if you've seen the trailer showing, he's with the Bengal tiger. But if you look at the tiger, I mean, even the tiger looks really lifelike. I mean, they did a really good job computer generating this tiger to make him be, the pretty much the supporting actor in the movie, because the whole movie is, the young boy Pi being stuck on, the life raft with the tiger, and the tiger's name, is Richard Parker, and he explains why it's named Richard Parker in the movie and in the book. But it's pretty good how they made it so that he looked real. One of the things that they took out of the movie, and I hope I'm not giving away. I got a spider here on my handlebars. But one of the things they took out of the movie from the book, and I'm not sure why they did it, but and this is probably giving away a bit of the book, but in the book, Pi starts to lose his vision, from lack of nutrients in the body, and so so does Richard Parker. Richard Parker kind of loses his vision, and so they don't really go after each other and attack each other. And then he kind of Pi kind of goes a little bit maybe a little bit crazy, where he starts talking, and Richard Parker is talking back to him. They took that out of the movie, which I think it would have been a neat thing to have still in the movie, just to kind of show more of a relationship between Pi and Richard Parker, to show that Pi had kind of come to depend on Richard Parker, and I don't depend on him to keep the will to live, and I don't think that they showed that in the movie as well as it should have. But the other scene that they took out was um, while they can't see, another voice, appears, and it happens to be someone else who's shipwrecked and on a life raft, and you know, they can't see each other because Pi is blind, and so is the other shipwrecked guy. Um, and they talk for a bit, and then the other guy gets on the boat and attempts to kill Pi. And Richard Parker, instead of eating, Pi, I guess because of the bond that they formed, Richard Parker attacks the other, castaway or stranded, castaway, and eats him instead. And I think that was an important part of the book because, like I said, it shows that they have formed a relationship, and that Richard Parker is differential to not eating Pi, but he's still he's still an animal, and he still will eat to survive. But he's not going to eat Pi because he respects Pi. Pi's part of his little family group, I guess. So that was one of the things that they took out. It didn't really change the movie a whole lot. I think it did take that little bit out, the showing how close they'd become. Other than that, it's still a really, really great movie. The story, is also, the whole concept is that it's a discussion between, Pi living there in Canada, and this guy who's wanting to write a book, and he tracks him down and talks to him. Well, after Pi, or after the interviewer, the writer, talks to Pi for a bit, he then tracks down the people who owned the ship and talked to them about some of the interviews that they did with Pi after after Pi is rescued, and they kind of changed that as well so that it doesn't they don't add in where he's the traveler is traveling to, or the interviewer is traveling to these other places to talk to these people, but Pi himself tells the stories directly to the interviewer instead of into the to the Japanese people who own the ship. Again, it doesn't really change much, but small change into the movie. Overall, very good movie. Story is really good. Follows the book really well. Cinematography, it's absolutely gorgeous. Major props to Ang Lee for the beautiful cinematography, the beautiful shooting. Props to the computer, CGI guys who did the tiger and a couple of the scenes. A couple of the scenes, in the actual storms and ship, with the lifeboat, they built a small little, set where they had the lifeboat in a large pool and were able to simulate all the waves and the rain and lightning and thunder, and so I mean that was really cool, and it added a bit of realism to it. And the actor who played Pi, haven't the foggiest idea what his name is, but he did pretty well. Of course he's for the majority of the movie it's just him and a CGI computer created object, and so him having to act in front of a green screen for 2 hours definitely shows that he is a good actor. Now I will say that the other movie, Castaway, with Tom Hanks, where that one pretty much the whole movie is Tom Hanks acting. I mean, that I wouldn't say that Pi's acting was on par with that, because I think that one was just, you know, absolutely amazing what Tom Hanks was able to do there. But it was very good. He'll probably win some awards. Maybe not an Academy Award, but yeah, I definitely think that he'd, you know, maybe win, you know, an award at some of the smaller uh, movie festivals, or at, you know, maybe I would assume that the Academy Awards, or that India has Academy Awards, and so I'm pretty sure he would win something there. So overall, the rating that I'd give it, you know, again, is 0 to 5 stars. 5 being the best I've ever seen. 0 being don't even waste your, you know, your dollar at the Red Box. I would give this one a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a beautiful, well-written story. Definitely worth seeing it in the big screen. There's a 3D version of it too. Yeah, some of it, the 3D versions, part of it was kind of cool. Not necessarily that you have to see it in 3D, but it does, you know, just impress upon you more how great the cinematography was for it. So go see it in the theaters. Definitely rent it if you don't go see it in the theaters. And, you know, if you get a collection and you have a big screen TV, high def, definitely get it for that. So there you go. And there's my review of The Life of Pi. I know I've given away some spoilers, but hopefully that won't change your, you know, idea if you're still debating on whether to see it or not. It is definitely worth seeing in the theaters. If y'all have any comments, or if there's any movies that you guys would like me to review, you know, just leave a post. I'll try and get to it. If it's a newer movie, you know, it might take a week or two, just because, you know, getting to the theater, and there's only one theater here in town, but do have a good bit of a DVD collection or a Blu-ray collection, so, you know, I might have a movie if you want me to review it. But we'll leave it at that, and hope to see your posts, and thank you guys for liking and watching. We'll see you next time.